from the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
All right, folks. Happy Thursday. Welcome to this week's Practitioner Brief. I hope your week has been going well. I know this has been a really crazy week. And, you know, with 2020 being the year it's been, like, could this year end with any more drama, unexpected things going on? And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But before we do, please make sure to subscribe to our podcast. Your subscription, you sharing our content, is what helps us grow. I appreciate a lot of the feedback and all the great comments I get on our podcast, but please make sure to subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, turn on the notification bell. If you're listening on your favorite podcast listening platform, please subscribe and give us a 5-star review. It takes you a few seconds to do it, but it means a whole lot to me and to help grow our podcast as well. You can get our entire practitioner brief on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. That website is going to be getting some massive upgrades over 2021. I've got so many great plans. I can't wait to share them with you here towards the end of the year. I know you guys are going to love it. And finally, 2020. What a year this has been. From Citrix early on to COVID-19 that's really impacted the way we all live and interact, to what happened a few days ago with FireEye being victimized by a nation-state actor, and to all the conversations that have been had since and about this one specific topic. A lot is going on, folks. But I'd be remiss. Today's Hanukkah. So to all of our listeners of the Jewish faith, happy Hanukkah. It's the first candle tonight, so light it up, enjoy 8 crazy nights, as Adam Sandler would say. So let's get right into today's practitioner brief. A few things to talk about. I'm going to take it easy a little bit, warn you guys of a few things that are being reported out there. Some stuff that I'm paying attention to. I'm in a little bit of a Hanukkah mood, I guess. So you know, we're not going to go full intensity, but we'll get this stuff going. Russian hackers hide the Zebrocy malware in virtual disk images. The proof of concept exploit code published for the new Kerberos Bronze Bit attack. This is huge, folks. And DHS and CISA urge admins to patch the OpenSSL DOS vulnerability immediately. Let's get right into our first stories, where Russian-speaking hackers behind the Zebrocy malware have changed their techniques for delivering the malware to high-profile victims and started to pack the threats in virtual hard drives to avoid detection. The technique was spotted in a recent spear phishing campaign from threat group APT28, also known as Fancy Bear, to infect target system with a variant of the Zebrocy toolset. Zebrocy comes in many programming languages: AutoIT, C++, C squared, Delphi, C, also Delphi, Go, VB.NET. For recent campaigns, the threat actor chose the Golang-based versions instead of the more common Delphi 1. Windows 10 supports VHD files natively and can mount them as external drives to allow users to view the files within. Last year, security researchers discovered that antivirus engines do not check VHD contents until the disk images are actually mounted. Researchers at Azar discovered at the end of November a VHD uploaded to the virus total scanning platform from Azerbaijan. Inside the image were a PDF file and an executable posing as a Microsoft Word document, which was Zebrocy malware. The PDF is a presentation about the Sinopharm International Corporation, the Chinese pharmaceutical company that's in currently phase 3 trials for, guess what, folks, the COVID-19 vaccine. The Zebrocy variant in the VHD file is a new one that enjoyed low detection on Virus Total. On November 30th, only 9 engines out of 70 detected the malware. Zebrocy has been used for years, folks. If you don't know the name, if you're not familiar with it, I urge you to do that. Zebrocy has droppers and the backdoors. The Golang-based variant, which was discovered last year, has been used off and on by the criminals. A bunch of reports on this. You can find them all on our website at cyberhubpodcast.com. But Zebrocy is making a comeback. These Russian-speaking hackers are as well, so check it out. A proof of concept exploit code published for the new Kerberos Bronze Bit attack. So the proof of concept code has been published this week for a new attack technique that can bypass the Kerberos authentication protocol in Windows environment and lets intruder access sensitive network connected services, named the Bronze Bit attack, or CVE 2020-17049er. Patching this bug caused quite the issue for Microsoft already. The OS maker delivered an initial fix for this in November. However, the patch caused authentication issues, and a new update was to be deployed on Wednesday, a day after Microsoft delivered the final patches. They published a technical breakdown of the vulnerability, so network defenders can understand how they are vulnerable and why they need to update, despite the patching process rocky start. So I want to kind of talk about that for just a minute here. It used to be that we had a patching schedule. And it used to be that you would look at a patch, you would look at the severity of it, and you would put it onto your patching schedule, whether it be every 15, 30 days, 45 days, whatever your patching schedule was, and that's how you did it. And that's a mentality that's been organizational. And it's cyber hygiene. And patching is one of the basics of cyber hygiene. And when I talk about this stuff all the time, really root cause of it all, folks, is cyber hygiene. So it's on us here. We got to be able to patch these. This proof of concept doesn't mean that attackers are going to start taking advantage of it, but a patch like this with the proof of concept, 72 hours, and we're going to start to see the floodgates open. Because guess what? The same place I read this, the bad guys did as well. And those guys, they don't waste any time. They're going to look at this. They're going to start scanning. They're going to see, is it worth it for us? And then they're going to start working. So it's on us. It's our responsibility. Let's get to work. Let's start patching. Let's increase our cyber hygiene. Let's find better ways to have that. And let's get it all squared away. So that's on this. Make sure you do get that patched and updated. This week, OpenSSL released fixes for a high-severity denial of service vulnerability impacting the open source project. Now, CISA has warned admins to upgrade their vulnerability OpenSSL instances immediately. The high-severity vulnerability was tracked as CVE 2021-971 and stems from a null pointer dereferencing issue. As specified by the X.509er standard, SSL certificates use the general name type in various places to represent different types of names. The general name object can be an IP address, a DNS name, a URL identifier, or even something called the EDI party name. OpenSSL, now the patch is there, and DHS and CISA saw it to launch an immediate alert for admins to get this upgrade to version 1.1.1i. And product support has reached end of life for OpenSSL 1.0.2. So if you're using any of those old versions, please make sure you get that done. This was credited, the vulnerabilities were credited to David Benjamin of Google, who reported everything on November 9th. So that's it for our practitioner brief this week. Later today, we have a great CISO Talk podcast coming up, so make sure you tune in. My good friend Ed Harris will be joining me for a very, very fun conversation. So if you have not subscribed to our CISO Talk podcast, or if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that and catch that great interview. We're nearing episode 100 on the CISO Talk podcast, so I'm going to have a very special episode 100 for the podcast in January. We'll be doing that. We'll be back with more practitioner briefs on Monday. Until then, folks, stay healthy, stay cyber safe, happy Hanukkah, enjoy your weekend, take it easy, and please support our friends and colleagues over at FireEye who have had this attack happen in the worst possible time. All right, guys, that's it for us here. See you Monday.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.